Believe it or not, I'm actually happy when I get to make a video where I'm not complaining. I want to talk about positive things. In fact, the reason I started this channel was to talk about positive things, but due to the pandemic, there weren't many games released, and I couldn't just talk about things because there wasn't that much to talk about. So we get this game coming out. Usually on video game forums, when you see that Polygon, IGN, and PC Games are giving like 10 out of 10s and 9 out of 10s to a game, you start asking like, well, why is this game getting so many negative reviews? It's the absolute state of the gaming industry. But Vermintide, in my opinion, wasn't a great game. It was just good. I picked it up, I played it for a couple of weeks, and then I dropped it and I never picked it up again. I can't tell exactly why. I mean, it's better than Left 4 Dead when you're talking about mechanics. But for some reason, Left 4 Dead was more addictive. What is Valve doing? What is Game Newell doing that's making games so addictive? Because it doesn't make any sense. You know, you got more customization in Vermintide 2, you got more dialogue between the characters. And yet, for some reason, I prefer Left 4 Dead. It's just weird. I suppose like one of the things that I didn't like is that in Vermintide you had different class options. So, you know, you could play the dwarf and level him up as a berserker, which is a big deal in the lore if you're a berserker as a dwarf. But the problem was that he didn't change any of his voice lines. And I think like this made the game be more repetitive. Like after you play it a couple of times, the game becomes very repetitive. And that's why people just stop playing it. And it's also a game that's better to be played with friends than with strangers. I suppose there's also no competition, like there's no ranking ladder involved, which is why a lot of people get bored of it. So maybe they're going to fix these things in Warhammer 40k DarkTide. Now, one of the cool aspects that I really am excited for is that, unlike classical Warhammer, 40k is going to have more ranged weapons. So we're going to see like more ranged combat, because even the smallest amount of lag in Vermintide was noticeable, and the impact from your weapon to the enemy just felt off, and that takes you out of the experience. So maybe they can fix this in the new Warhammer 40k game. Now the trailer looks kind of interesting. They don't reveal that much, so let's watch it together a little bit. The atmosphere is really, really cool. I mean, I love this gothic sci-fi setting that they're going with. And the lighting, you know, the special effects, they're really great. I mean, imagine playing this game with ray tracing. If you bought one of the new cards, which apparently a lot of people did because they're all sold out. I guess, like, you know, this is a little bit cool, you know, the equipment being defective, like the spirit of the rifle being angry. This is like a thing in 40k. Most of the technology that they have, they don't really know how it functions, and it's quite rare. So yeah, you're going to end up with people who aren't part of any special forces or anything like that, just have faulty equipment.
My Lord Inquisitor, I've reached a term of prime and begun.
So one of the cool things that I really love is that you don't have a Space Marine. I mean, I am so disappointed in the way most people who go into Warhammer 40k don't understand Space Marines. Because 40k is supposed to be dark fantasy, and it's all about human beings being used as pawns in massive warfares. It's like they don't care about how many millions or billions of lives they lose as long as they manage to conquer a planet. And that is like the nitty-gritty, like being just an average guy in a universe where you're supposed to be fighting orcs and Tyranids and various other horrors. And the Space Marine is the apogee of that. It's like the Titan on the battlefield. Like, he's supposed to be this unstoppable juggernaut, this Terminator in a world filled with humans. But in order to create that image, in order to reach the point where like the Space Marine is like really almost a godlike being to the average soldier. You need to create the story of the average soldier. And I think this is what this game does. It just like puts random humans, and I think like there's even a mutant there, fighting against all of these nasty creatures, and maybe like at one level, one of the endings can be the random players are being surrounded but just by swarms and waves of enemy, and they have to call for backup, and you know, like a space marine squad just drops in and just obliterates all the enemies, and then you can go to the spaceship for an evacuation. Like, that would be something cool, but I don't think they're going to go that deep into it. But still, like, my point is that I appreciate when I see Warhammer 40k games not featuring the player as the Space Marine, because all the others do.
On our investigations, our recon squad has been sent into sub-level 6 of the Hive to determine the full extent of the unrest.
So another cool thing is that it seems to take place in a Hive city. Most 40k games take place in space. So this is really cool. Now, Hive cities are these massive, just enormous cities that are built upon layer, upon layer, upon layer. And the higher up you go, the more decent the lifestyle and the more access to sunlight you get. But the deeper you go, the more of the trash from the people above gets to fall down, and the more toxic the environment, the more perpetual darkness you get. And as you go to the last levels of the Hive, you go into mutant territory, gang warfare, like all the nastiness that humanity has to offer. And I am really glad to see that this game takes place in a Hive city.
I'll know more when they make it back. If they make it back.
So I really like it. It's going to be interesting to see who the characters are. They haven't announced that much. Maybe they announced a little bit in this video, let's see. Or is it the same trailer? Okay, so this is a new one. Let's see if they talk about the main characters you can play. I mean, this looks absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so you get like this mutant, which I guess is the tank. I think like this guy might be just the default soldier. And then you get a psyker and maybe an assassin or something. That's interesting. I suppose like they're all going to have access to different skill sets and stuff and weapons. Oh wow, the impact feels better than Vermintide. Oh my god, like look, when they hit this guy with the hammer, you can actually feel the blow. You can feel how the weapon has some weight. I really love that. And here where you're fighting like the little guys, when the tank is hitting, like when the mutant is hitting, it's almost like he's swatting some flies. Look at this. Back. Again, I don't know if this is going to be in the final version of the game, because right now I am so jaded with trailers. They show something really cool and the game looks like someone took a sledgehammer to your monitor, cracked it, and then threw Vaseline over it. And then you play the trailer and you see the actual game.
Master of mankind, may thy light guide us in the darkness. Burn the heretic, kill the mutant, purge the unclean. Master of mankind, grant us strength.
Okay, so you get weapon combat. This is pretty cool. Do we get to see some psyker abilities? I guess not. Still, though, I'm really excited about this. Oh, you get some cool grenades. Ooh, Papa Nurgle sends his best regards, eh? Yeah, I'm really hyped up about this. I'm going to be watching this game, and hopefully it's not going to disappoint. My expectations, if it's as good, and that doesn't say much, but if it's as good as Vermintide 2, I'm happy. I'm happy because it was a game that I got to play for a couple of weeks. I felt like I got my money's worth, so that is what I think. But hopefully it's going to be much better than that, so I can actually consider it an excellent game. I'd really like to see the Warhammer franchise succeed, especially the 40k one, because it's got so cool lore in it, it's got so much potential, and I want to see more video games taking place in this universe. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the comment section.